Derek Moneyberg is the biggest scammer in MMA right now. Now, those are not my words. That's simply the title of this video. All I see is a successful alpha male and a whole lot of haters.
Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about a guy who has been on my radar for quite some time now. I was going to do a video on him a few months back, but honestly, I didn't think anyone would care or even know who this guy was. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't sure if people would even watch the video, okay? But recently, it seems that more people have been made aware or are becoming aware of this guy, as a lot of fighters have been doing content with him over the last little while. And most recently, we saw Jake Shields hand this guy a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt after just 3.5 years of training.
Now, I don't train BJJ. Because first of all, why would I want to roll around with sweaty men? But even I know that 3.5 years is essentially speed running the sport. There's just no way you're that technically proficient. I mean, maybe. He's an absolute prodigy.
This guy who looks like the love child of Harvey Weinstein and Ron Jeremy, in his 40s, got his black belt as fast as BJ Penn, okay? And we'll touch on that in a bit, but first I want to give you context as to who this guy is.
He just trains more than you. Just putting in the sweat equity.
Mainly what kind of guy he is, because in my opinion, based on everything I've seen thus far, this guy is absolutely a complete and total fucking scammer.
He's next to Gordon Ryan, the best BJJ practitioner, I would even say grappler in the world.
Okay, and I'm going to do my best in this video to prove that to you guys and hope that none of you pay for his courses or whatever.
I already bought
that
them.
Fighters like Jake Shields, Henry Cejudo,
Musa Mechi,
and Gilbert Burns are trying to help sell you. So Derek Moneyberg, also known as Dale Bukowski, according to his own YouTube channel, is an investor, entrepreneur, and a wealth coach. And now, apparently, like I said, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Jake Shields, and apparently a green belt in Kempo Karate under Glover fucking Teixeira. Of all people.
He's just the last samurai.
Connection with all of the fighters I find kind of fucking strange. Now, I'm going to assume most of them were reached out to and offered money to come on his podcast, or, you know, do a seminar to help sell his course, or whatever it may be. There are so many fighters or UFC related individuals that I had to stop counting. I got to about 100 appearances from UFC fighters or former fighters, or even guys like John Anik, Bruce Buffer, and Ali Abdullah Sleaze, which was no surprise.
How is he getting all these connections?
Okay, no surprise either. A lot of his fighters have done this podcast as well, but basically
he's just doing it for the love of the game. I see no foul play. He's an investor. He's just supporting the professionals in the hobby that he loves.
Every single one of his videos are just him trying to sell you one of the many courses he has ran throughout the years that, in my opinion, okay, in my belief, and I will provide evidence, are scammy. Okay, I'm going to be saying I believe a lot throughout the course of this video, or in my opinion. The reason for that is Derek Moneyberg is sue happy, and we're going to get into some of that. In a little bit, because in my opinion, a lot of the stuff that came out during a lawsuit that he filed against a YouTuber proves that he isn't
oh no,
in fact, just a scammer, trying to make money off of an audience that he perceives to be dumb, using their favorite fighters to try and get them to pay for his bullshit. Now, I want to take a look at how
many subs total have I gifted? Lost count, to be honest. It's got to be a huge number. I don't even know if it tells me.
In my opinion, Derek Moneyberg scams people who pay for his courses. I'm going to be honest, I do find it somewhat difficult to have sympathy and certainly empathy for people who pay for this guy's course, okay? Even just glancing at his website or his YouTube channel it comes off as extremely fake or scammy, and I just cannot imagine myself paying $5,000.
Chat, am I about to get sued?
To be told I should have invested that $5,000 in the stock market. Do you know what I mean? That being said, I do understand that not everyone shares the same mental capacity or same mental faculties. And I would imagine a lot of people that are being duped by this are somewhat vulnerable in that regard. Okay, it seems unimaginable that someone might fall for this. And that's why I'm going to be honest, I'm having a very hard time not hating every single fighter who helps this guy sell his courses. Right? There are fighters who have just been on his podcast, but then there are fighters who are actively helping him, doing the seminars and stuff to try and help sell these.
This is fascinating. What a rabbit hole.
Courses. And I do, see a difference between the two. If I'm to give the benefit of the doubt, perhaps they are unaware of how much of a scam it really is and how much they are actively participating in aiding this.
Dude, why is every fighter here?
Guy scam their own fans, but at the same time,
And why are they all wearing his shirt?
the internet does exist, and with just a few Google searches or YouTube searches or whatever the fuck, which I do think you should do if you're going to take money from a guy like this, you should probably do your due diligence. But just a few searches and it would be clear as day that this guy's integrity is questionable at best. So I want to go over one way this guy might be able to trick some people into buying his course. To do that, I'm going to show you some things I found perusing his website. Okay. Now, this is one of Derek's many courses that he attempts to sell, teaching you how to allegedly master the market or beat the stock market. This course cost
Yes. This man figured out the stock market.
$5,000 and consists of 10 live weekly coaching calls with Mr. Tommy Berg. Okay, there's a few things I want to focus on first. If we scroll down to week number 3, titled, quote, weekly exercises to help you master market opportunities, end quote.
I just need to start selling a course. I wouldn't even feel bad if people bought it. They're getting value. Think about that.
And reads, quote, these exercises are not busy work. They lay the foundational knowledge that you must acquire to be confident in your investment decisions. If you don't do the exercises, you will be banned from our next call. If you repeatedly miss your assignments, you will be removed from the program with no refund.
So based.
Or credit, end quote. Okay, so he gives you some homework, all right? No problem. And if you don't do it, you only get to complete 30.
Juliana Pena too? Oh my God.
% of the course that you paid $5,000 for with no refund. Now, this had me wondering, what could these assignments look like? Because obviously just saying the word assignments is extremely vague, and the only way you can get more detail is to pay for the course, which I'm sure is fuck not gonna do. Okay, now going further down this page, I found some quote unquote testimonials or reviews from people who had purchased his course, and they all had one thing in common.
Hi, my name is Edwin.
This is so uncanny. This is probably, allegedly, my opinion, of course, just paid for reviews.
Entrepreneur from El Salvador. I'm enrolled in the Moneyberg Markets Mastery Program. We're about halfway through.
Hello guys, my name is Ruby and we are now 3 out of 10 weeks into the Moneyberg Markets Mastery Program.
The way that she's emphasizing every single word makes it seem like she's reading off a script.
Hello, this is Imran Khan, and this is my testimonial for Moneyberg's Market Mastery.
These are just reviews from Fiverr. Definitely real, by the way.
We are 3/10 of the way through.
So for the past 3 weeks, I've been on the Derek Moneyberg Markets
Bro doesn't even know his name.
Masteries course.
Okay, so every single one of these reviews just so happen to be on week 3 or just finished week 3.
I mean, that's when the course really starts to pick up. It makes sense. Survival of the fittest is Darwinian.
Makes me think that the so-called assignments you have to do in order to continue with the course that you already paid for is to give him a good review so he can trick more people into buying his course. Okay, that is absolutely fucking insane. And listen, I'm no business legal expert or whatever, but it
Gordon Ryan looks like he's giving his full undivided attention.
sounds awfully extortion-y.
Attention. So, new assignment. I want video reviews for how you're doing in the course so far. And I want to know what's going well in the course.
Promo for the course as part of the course assignments.
Here's my deal. When I ask people to do this, is I want them submitted by Sunday before you go to sleep. You're not going to be in next week's call if they're not submitted. If you don't
Yes, coach.
If you don't have the time to submit them, that's fine. I'm excited for you to not be here next week. For those of you that didn't get your video in on time, get it in this week, or you're not going to be in the program after this week. Not this week, today. Get it in today, before you go to sleep, or you're not going to
I mean, this is just step one on how to master the market.
be in the program any longer.
And I do want to stress, fighters are helping this fuck sell these.
Yo, he hit that. Let's run that back.
And I do want to stress, fighters are helping this fuck sell these, doing seminars and podcasts and the like. And sure, some of the fighters might not understand or be aware, especially those who don't speak English, and they just see a rich
This is just predation on poor people without access to real education. Dude, that's just your opinion.
guy trying to, as he puts it, help people make money. Like, maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit, but for guys like Jake Shields or Henry Cejudo, I cannot find it in myself to do that. Again, however, at the same time, I'm finding it very hard to feel overly bad for the people who got scammed. As to me, and I'm sure the vast majority of you, this is just glaringly obvious, okay? Now, another way he's able to get people to buy his course is his credentials, essentially an appeal to authority.
Why are fighters selling courses? You can make just as much training private. The fuck? Money talks and bullshit walks. They're just after the bag. Gotta diversify your bonds. If you're a real paper chaser, you're never saying no to the bag.
And while his education does appear to be real, from what I've read in the YouTuber lawsuit through depositions and things like that, which
Who is he suing? Oh. He's suing Spencer Cornelia. Oh, no. Filed a defamation lawsuit against Spencer Cornelia in 2021. Cornelia was ultimately victorious.
again we will get to shortly. A lot of other ways he sells himself and his courses are not. So, on the very same page, in an attempt to give himself credibility to sell his course, there is a section that reads, quote, "Why are global media publications writing articles about me?" End quote.
Hold on, let's see here.
Derek Moneyberg upset a lot of people within the MMA community with this post on Instagram, so let's do a little deep dive today. He is the world's best wealth coach and a former dating I've had access to. Moneyberg, whose real name is Dale Bushkovsky, sued me in June 2021 for 4 separate claims: defamation, business disparagement, unfair competition under the Lanham Act, and emotional distress. He legit said in the complaint that my videos caused him to overeat. I can assure you that he had those man boobs long before my videos on him. The original videos that led to this lawsuit were filmed in December 2020 and were of me interviewing someone who had firsthand experience with Derek Moneyberg. I literally said nothing in the video other than ask questions. Kardashians. In these last 4 years, I've learned more about this wealthy ogre than I care to admit. But that means I get to share it with you so you can enjoy laughing at how much of a loser Moneyberg is. To start, let's look at his Instagram. The likes on his posts all vary between 40,000 and 43,000 because he has a software that auto-likes his posts. The 4.1 million followers he has are not
4.1 million followers? What the fuck?
real. Everything he has is paid for, which is why this black belt situation isn't surprising to anyone who knows anything about him. We'll start here at 7212 Longboat Drive in Johnston, Iowa. There was a court case in 2012 filed by the United States government against 7212 Longboat Drive. It was a civil forfeiture case, drug-related seizure of property. One of the movants was Dale Buchkowski. Dale's mother Terry and grandmother Betty Mariani were also included. To be very clear, since I've been in litigation with him, he's never been indicted, charged, or convicted of any crime related to this property.
I'm a high school dropout.
RSD Derek? He was part of Real Social Dynamics?
Banana selling business. He became a dating coach for RSD. Real Social Dynamics, the largest dating company for men on social media, had a mystery man.
You know exactly who we're talking about, chat. Remember the estrogen-ridden Teletubby?
Behind the scenes. His name was RSD Derek, who mostly stayed anonymous. He taught boot camps where multiple people would pay him around $2,000 to go out to the nightclub where the students hoped to learn how to pick up women from his teachings. So Derek eventually using seeking arrangement to find companionship is hilarious to me. Believe it or not, he actually found a real woman who had a kid with him many years ago. In May 2024, Peru man racks up charges during domestic...
This is an insane rabbit hole.
Quote, over the past year, I have been featured in some of the world's most prominent media publications for my work with ambitious clients all around the globe. Market Watch, Entrepreneur, Hout Living, Yahoo Finance, and about 24 other media publications, including London Daily Post and the Internation Business Times of Singapore or some shit, have all written articles on me, end quote. Quote, you don't get that kind of attention without producing results for your clients. During my career, I have consulted for multiple Fortune 500 companies and worked in person. I can't believe he used a comma before the word and.
You're going to try out this haircut end of September? You're going to look great, dude.
And, okay, but either way, with thousands of individual clients in every major city around the world, end quote. Quote, in addition to my coaching and consulting, I have started and ran multiple successful businesses, including several that did or are currently doing 8 figures or more in revenue per year, end quote. Okay, so Mr. Tummyberg is using articles written about him as evidence that he is legit and essentially is what he says he is. Lists a number of publications and shows a picture of many more. I do want to highlight Playboy. That's pretty fucked up, Playboy. What are we doing here? Now, the problem is, however,
all of those copy articles can just be paid for. I think you all have the IQ to understand that, though. Imagine taking digital buzz and media seriously. I was featured in Forbes.
I have read, like I mentioned, over parts of the lawsuit, including the summary judgment and depositions that he participated in. And in one of the depositions, he was asked about all the articles that had been written about him by different major publications that were seeking his, quote, financial acuity. Mr. Tummyberg was unable to name a single publication that he had not paid to be featured in.
I told you. Here at Third Eye Global, we got that foresight. We'll tell you what's about to happen in real time.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Okay? It's all fucking fake. He pays magazines to write about him, then uses the fact that a magazine wrote about him as proof that he is who he says he is. I'm gonna be honest, dude. When I found out that this guy sued a YouTuber, I was shocked. Because when you engage in a lawsuit, you're gonna have to go through discovery, right? The discovery process, which so much shit comes out, right? And with someone like this, discovery could be more harmful to his reputation than any video that ever gets made about him, ever.
Anthony Smith. Bro got dogged by John Jones. Sheesh. One of the most technical destructions I've ever seen in my life.
Now, lastly, I want to go over just a minor discrepancy, okay, on this course website that, again, to me, and I'm sure the vast majority of you, would be a huge red flag.
He's banking on litigation fatigue, probably.
So, at multiple times on this website, you will see something along the lines of, quote, I decided to lay out my 20 years of experience in the market, end quote. No problem so far, okay? So you've been investing for 20 years and you are using that as, again, some sort of appeal to authority. Not necessarily a fallacious one, right? Because it is relevant experience, but still. If you scroll down to the beginning week of the course, the same section where we found the bit about the assignments, you will see, quote, here's the best work I have ever put together, distilled from 30 years of investment experience, end quote. Now, immediately, the obvious, okay? An entire decade discrepancy in terms of his...
Yeah, is it 20 years or 30 years of expertise? As a potential consumer, I would like to know.
Investing experience. 20 years and 30 years is a pretty big difference. Both are claimed multiple times throughout this page. Now, something I want to point out as well is when this course began. Derek features on this page a screenshot or alleged screenshot of his account and how much he's up halfway through 2020. So we can assume that the course began around this time. Okay, I think that's reasonable. Do you know what I mean? So a whole 5 years ago. A quick Google search will show you that Mr. Tommy Berg, or Dale Bukowski, was born in 1979, which today would make
Simple math.
him roughly 46 years of age. Okay, now this course was uploaded, like I said, about...
So what was he? 16 years old investing in the stock market?
5 years ago, based on the screenshots provided, which would have made him 41 years old at the time. I'm sure some of you have already picked up on it, but at 41 years of age, with 30 years of investing
Dude, I was investing at 11. I'm just a real hustler, though.
experience, that would mean that he was buying and selling stocks at the age of 11. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Which, listen, it's not necessarily impossible. Some people's parents are extremely financially literate. They'll set up investment accounts for their kids and allow them to make decisions after they've taught them a few things regarding investment. I had a girlfriend from high school whose dad did this with her. When her account would expire, he would take her to the bank, let her decide whether or not she wanted to put it in mutual funds.
It seems like they're being held here against their will. This looks like a humiliation ritual. Maybe it's the filter. I'm not quite sure.
Or stocks, or if she wanted just a GIC, like a term savings account type shit, whatever, right? However, it would mean that he most likely grew up quite wealthy, and it would call into question how he's been able to acquire his fortune. Also, he uses the experience in the stock market as a form of authority, but also uses his degree as a form of authority, which he didn't have at the age of 11 years old. There's no fucking way he had his master's degree at 11. So, but either way, just another thing to add to the list of bullshit. Okay, and all of this on top of other issues like potential tax fraud based on some shady business about his residence, potentially some domestic shit, okay? This all came out in deposition, so I'm not just making shit up. I just didn't feel that it was worth covering in depth here, as it does not directly relate to the scammery.
Did you guys know about this iceberg? Or should I say Moneyberg? Where did bro come from? Well, it seems like he's been in the trenches for years. Dating coach, course selling, MMA speedrunning.
Of the MMA fan base, or at the very least, the attempted scammery, okay? And speaking of martial arts, I do kind of want to get to the whole Jake Shields black belt situation. It is my belief that Jake Shield is a complete and total fucking sellout shill.
Quick combination, I think, of your hard work, just thinking about things, plus, amazing mentors and coaches.
Are they just milking this guy? That would be sad if they're pretending to be his friend.
Yourself some credit, but this very huge honor to hand you by far the fastest that we given one. And other I give black belts to people like Gil Melendez, like champion fighters. This is a huge honor. You earned it. That's what happened.
Okay, as I said in the opening, Derek Tummyberg has only been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 3.5 years, which is an insane amount of time to be receiving your black belt. The only person I could think of off the top of my head was BJ Penn, who was training extensively every single day, improved his skills during his fights.
Who now thinks his entire family has been cloned and is plotting against him. There's a lesson in there.
This was, of course, before the crash out. Maybe a video for another day, but either way. Now, one thing that immediately...
I just can't get over the fact that they're all wearing his shirt. Is this treated as like a sponsorship? It has to be.
Makes me believe this is bullshit is the YouTuber that Moneyberg sued made a few videos on him. One of them trying to figure out his actual residence, where he spends most of his time for the whole tax fraud stuff that I mentioned. This guy actually messaged Jake Shields to ask if he trains with Mr. Tummyberg due to Jake being featured in many of his YouTube videos and social media posts and things like that. Jake actually responded and said, quote, "Yeah, I do every month." Every fucking month, okay? And this guy got his black belt in 3.5 years. Not every day, not every...
I think a competent fighter with a wealth of experience in other fighting styles could become a novice to black belt in 3 years, but no way an amateur.
Week, not 4 times a week, not 5 times a week, not daily. Every fucking month. Now, okay, fine. Maybe he really ramped up his training after a certain time period, although training monthly would severely inhibit your belt progression, especially when you're in your 40s. And with all due respect at the time...
Dude, I like the amount of fighters that are pictured next to him on this podcast or video, whatever it is astonishing. He got the whole UFC by their balls.
Clinically, morbidly obese. Now, Moneyberg claims that this is legit because in 3.5 years, he's put in about 3,000 hours of training, which that's about 2.5 hours every single day if you do the math. But we already know that can't be true because the guy who gave him his black belt told a YouTuber through DMs that he trains with him every month, which also means that if he was to have ramped up his training at some point, he would have had to be putting in like 5-6 hour training sessions every single day. This kind of shit drives me nuts.
I don't even think you can advance that fast doing 5 to 6 hours per day. Like, there's diminishing returns. You can't speed run it past a certain point.
Most people take 10 years to achieve their black belt, yet you want me to believe a morbidly obese...
Oh, you're right. Maybe steroids. That's a cheat code. You can't speed run having experience?
Man in his 40s. Got it in 3.5 years. Get the fuck out of here. By the way, there's no footage of him in competition that I'm aware of, and any footage I have seen of him rolling, it looks extremely clunky. Does not look like he's...
Dude, so many UFC fighters are not even black belts.
Mastered any of the moves or positions or anything that they are doing. And people like Vinny Magalhaes agree with me. Okay, the only people that are defending this in the jiu-jitsu community are those that are featured on his channel multiple times, like the cringiest...
Yeah, black belts and BJJ.
...fuck of all time, Mike Musumeci, who's claiming it is legitimate because Derek Moneyberg is a super...
I've rolled with him. He's legit. He works harder than most, and people need to stop gatekeeping belts just based on time in.
Genius, and also has access to all the best coaches in the world. The thing about that is even if you are a super genius, you still need to apply what you've learned in theory with your body. Okay, and I'm not fucking buying it. And of course, Jake Shields. Oh, and like I said earlier, apparently now he's gotten his green belt in Kempo Karate from Glover fucking Teixeira.
I don't even know what Kenpo Karate is. See the rankings here. No way. White to yellow, orange, purple, blue, green, brown.
We agree with that. And this is the belt. And the gym, you're allowed to make the pit tattoo now. You know, the truck like the pit guy. So because only after you get a green belt, you're allowed to do it. You know, because the green belt is one of the toughest belts. It's like the purple belt and jiu-jitsu really. And now you just gotta fix it and get the red and the brown and go. But here's for Derek. Congratulations.
I don't understand this, dude. The guy that was notorious
He's just belt maxing. He's got one of every color.
for grappling heavy style, Glover Teixeira, and on the feet almost exclusively using boxing, gave you a belt in Kempo Karate. And in the video, you are sitting next to not only Glover Teixeira, but Lyoto Machida. If you wanted it to seem legit even a little bit, why the fuck would you not have Lyoto Machida hand you that belt?
Whose traditional style is karate.
It would make so much more sense. Okay, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. Now, one last thing that absolutely drives me nuts about these kinds of people are clips like this one.
American now.
American now. The haters are going to hate on that one.
Yes.
You know, funny thing about haters, successful people don't tend to have time to hate on others on the internet. They're too busy winning.
That's right.
They're too busy being successful and living their own lives at a very high level.
This is a common theme that we see from people like Joe Rogan, Brendan Schaub, Tim Kennedy, and
the GOATs.
So many others. Any form of criticism that they receive, even if it is legitimate, they claim it's all just haters, just unsuccessful losers and haters.
Yeah, it's impossible to criticize somebody with more money than you, because they could just call you poor, and then it just cancels it out.
Who have no life or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Which is just a pathetic way to address criticism. Also, what happens if you make money on the internet doing what you call hating, quote unquote, right? So what now, motherfucker? Okay. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think this dude's legit? His courses, his black belt? What do you think about the fighters helping him? Because me personally, I have a lot of disdain for almost every single one of them. Not the ones that have just taken money to go on his podcast or whatever. I mean, there is some level of culpability there, but it's not the same as actively doing seminars with this guy to sell courses that, even according to his own website, are not actually like money-making courses. They're essentially self-help shit. And he steals your money. So
is this the Steven Seagal of stocks? Dude, this was one of the best breakdowns and commentary videos I've seen on a situation I had no idea about. I got to get one of these shirts because every day I choose to conquer.